Oh, sliden! Oh, yes, I can slide, okay? I was so nervous I couldn't slide. Listen to this. That is so cool. I can slide. We're going to be able to make like bow, maybe not. Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, this makes me really happy. Wow! This is going to be the best mechanical instrument ever built, okay? Like, easily.
Once in a while, something happens that changes everything. And 3 days ago, that happened to me. I was working on some mechanical fingers to hit the bass strings in a human-like way. And I was using this track shape to produce an elliptical movement. It's pretty genius, and the idea came from this self-playing banjo, but something very similar was also featured in a This Old Tony video. In the This Old Tony video, the shape looked a bit different. It had this middle latching section. My mechanical fingers didn't need that step, so I used this much simpler shape like this. But in the middle of working with the bass fingers, I suddenly had a huge realization. I realized that I could perhaps use the exact shape that This Old Tony showed to solve a completely different problem on the marble machine. I quickly sketched down the idea on paper, and after 5 minutes of looking at these toddler level sketches, I knew it would work.
I just realized that this shape changes everything.
Okay, let's start the story from the beginning. I want to mute the bass strings mechanically. It's equally important when a note stops than when it starts in music, so I'm using this foam pad to build a muter. I'm very fond of designing mechanical locking fits like this. I can just press the foam into the 3D print and it stays where it wants to be with no need for glue or anything. And now I need to attach this spring to this bolt, and I can also use a simple 3D print as a link in between them. This pivot arm needs a structure to pivot inside, and I kind of think this looks a little bit animal-like, so that's always some bonus points. I'm pointing the foam pad towards the A string of the bass, and here you can see how this spring adjustment works. This is actually a solution that I used on Marble Machine X. I can just pull this spring out, and with my hand I can just pivot this nut, and I have a new setting. And then there's this small little ledge that keeps the nut from rotating. I really like that you can adjust the spring tension without any tools and without removing any parts or anything. I think it's a very elegant design. Now we need something to pull this foam pad open. And for that, we're gonna use a Bowden cable. This is a handbrake Bowden cable from a normal bicycle, and as you can see, when I pull in one direction, it moves in the other direction. It's a very nice way to transfer mechanical movement, and I'm using this small print to link the Bowden cable with the bolt, and the whole arm is ready to go. So here I'm opening and closing the muting pad manually. But now I want a programming wheel to open and close the mute pad. First try. And yes, that works great. I thought that the muting pad could perhaps be better, and I experimented with adding this rubber skin to the foam pad, and the muting was much faster and really human-like. This sounds great. And here you can see how I can adjust the stop position, which means how hard the muting pad is pressing on the string. On this pivot arm, we can adjust both the spring tension and exactly where it stops to hit the strings. And that kind of adjustability is really important for some fine mechanical function like playing a music instrument. But this video is not about how the muting pad works. No, it's about how the programming wheel is controlling the muting pad. So you can see when the profile comes, the muting pad is open, and when the profile releases it, the muting pad falls down. But while it stays in this open position, the reader is scraping on the programming profile. And this is causing a lot of noise and, most of all, a lot of friction. So you can see here where I push the wheel with the profile, the wheel isn't moving so easily, but when I push it without the profile, the wheel is moving super easily. So you can really see how much harder it is to rotate the wheel while the reader is pushing down on this profile. So this is only one channel, but imagine 500 channels causing all this friction, and that's where this shape comes in. As you can see here, we have a small version of the same shape in the thing. And when I attach this pin, magic happens. So let's try that with the old profile. It doesn't work. The profile is too high. This profile is 30 millimeters high, so I made some new profiles. We have 124, 120 and 110 millimeter high profile. Let's try the smallest profile.
Nej. I dropped it into the base. That's not fun. Of all the places. It is Wednesday today and we're a couple of hours from the release, and this is not the kind of task that I want to deal with right now. Okay, I can hear it. Oh, yes. Yay! Let's try this again.
With the smallest profile, you can see the muting pad opening and closing a little bit. Let's see what happens if we use the highest profile, 24 millimeters. The muting pad opens and closes again, but it opens a little bit wider. But here is the kicker. What happens if we use the middle size profile, 20 millimeter? Imaginary drum roll, everyone. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. What is going to happen? Check the muting pad right here. What? What just happened? The middle profile latches the muting pad in a position where it stays open without causing friction and mechanical scraping noise on the programming wheel.
But check this out. It doesn't matter which order the profiles are played in. Let's say that it hits the lowest one first. Nothing happened. But let's say we already latched it like this. It's open. And then it hits the lowest one. So it's hitting the lowest one here. Nothing happened. So then let's say it hits the latch again. Nothing happens. And then if it hits the unlatch, it's unlatching. So this is super, super important because let's say we're missing this latching one here because we're muted like this. It's muted, so it hasn't registered the latched. We're unmuting and we're coming straight to the 24, the high one. What happens then? So even if it's not latched, this full profile works as intended. It opens and closes as intended. So it doesn't matter when we mute or unmute, because all of the different profiles are doing their job regardless in what order they are activated. Magic. Boom! In the words of Disoltone, if this isn't cooler than you and me together, I don't know what is. But what is really great here is that the function in itself is cool, but what it does for the entire project and the machine is even cooler. Before I tell you about that, let me show you exactly how this works.
So this is how it moves when the lowest profile hits, and this is how it moves when the latching middle size profile hits, and this is how it moves when the highest profile hits. Let's look at all 4 at the same time. So again, the lowest profile, the middle latching profile, and the highest profile. There is an important design difference between my shape and the one this Altoni used, because this Altoni have the shape where you can push the same distance and get it to latch and unlock. But I didn't want to use that, because what if the machine gets them mixed up? If I unmute in the middle, the machine wouldn't know when to latch and when to play a note. So that could end up meaning that some notes could be played on the wrong positions in the songs. So that's why I extended the second portion of the shape a bit. Only the real high unlocking profile, the 24mm profile, can unlock the mechanism. This way we know for sure that the machine will never confuse locking and latching the mechanism and releasing it. Okay, so we no longer have to have this friction of the programming wheel scraping on the readers. We can have a completely frictionless, soundless state with this muting pad open. But why is that such a big deal? Well, we can use this shape not only on the muting pads on the electric bass, we can use it also on the automatic fingers for the electric bass. But not only that, it gets even better. We can use it on all the marble drop channels on the entire marble machine. Basically, I think we're going to use it on 500 mechanical channels. So this shape have reduced friction and annoying scraping sound from 500 mechanical channels, all the mechanical channels on the entire marble machine. That's why this is such a big deal, because power input is a scarce resource. It's only the power I have that goes into the machine. As we saw, this friction takes a lot of power, so it will save my effort and it will sound better. Noise-wise, mechanically, we have introduced this ticking sound of the latch. So that's actually a minus with this solution, but don't rain on my parade, okay? I'm so happy about this. I'm ignoring that for now. Then that's exactly how you should do engineering, okay? I think we can reduce the noise a lot, and that the compromise is well worth it. That's what I mean. Okay, let's look at the mechanical fingers, because on the new marble machine, I am not going to play the bass. The machine is going to pick the notes by itself.
Oh, sliden! Oh, yes! I can slide, okay? I was so nervous I couldn't slide. Listen to this. That is so cool. I can slide. We're going to be able to make like bow, maybe not. Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, this makes me really happy. Wow! Oof. It's hard the other way around. Woohoo! The fingers needs to push down really hard on the strings. Listen to when I release the pressure. So hard. This is not good. That's a clean tone, which means we need hard pressure, which means a lot of friction on the programming wheel before the push latch solution. For the fingers, the push latch solution is even more important, because we're gonna have like 37 fingers that needs to push hard. So imagine 37 channels scraping and causing friction on the programming wheel that we have eliminated in one heartbeat, okay? So this video is not about the fingers, but this is too much fun. It sounds like a slide. Damn! I was so worried I couldn't slide. Hammer on. Faster. Just a tiny little dynamic thing that will make this bass come to life. This is going to be the best mechanical instrument ever built, okay? Like, easily. I'll make a necklace out of this shape. I'm not taking this off for anything. Showering, sleeping, it stays until the world tour. Okay, let's control the finger with the programming wheel. The muting is disconnected. And now we're playing this note. And when I'm latching, we're playing one note lower. This is now lifted off. Haha! How cool is that? So let's try the lowest profile. I guess, I don't know, you can make like a vibrato with that, or a da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow, did you hear that? It's like wow wow. But now the important one, the latch. And we will be able to play things like hammer-ons. So if we're on the latch one, that is so cool. So when I feel here, this spring here is giving a lot of resistance. So the fact that we can latch this, leave this open, and not have any friction or scraping sound on the programming wheel is amazing. Not until, and we can leave it down like this, and there's nothing interacting with the programming wheel. What an amazing solution. What do you think, Wilson? He loves it. What's cool about this design is that I really stumbled on it by accident. I was doing the elliptical motion of the bass finger, which is completely unrelated to this, and I was using like half the push latch shape. And I think creativity often works like that. Once you start working on something, for example, writing a song, often the song that becomes written is something you played in a break, just fooling around. It's not often the song that you start with that ends up being the song. So if you feel you want to get more creative, I think the tip here is just to start working without inspiration. Don't wait for inspiration or like godsend muse or something like that. If you just start doing stuff, the brain kind of opens up and stumbles upon things that you later hang around your neck as a necklace. That is kind of fun, that this was completely by an accident. The thought to use the push latch mechanism in the chain had crossed my mind actually a year ago or something, when I was thinking about the marble drops, and for some reason at that point I was like deciding against it. But now with the muting and the fingers, all of a sudden I just realized that this shape totally changes everything.
This shape changes everything? Really? Well, if by everything you mean the Marble Machine project, yes. So I've had this impossible dream of building a marble machine that can play music live on stage for years now, and my previous efforts have fallen short. So now I'm spending all my time trying to become a stronger designer to reach this goal, and I've identified 5 big problems that has been standing between me and my dream. First, I didn't know how to make a good marble divider, but then we found the holy grail divider. Then I didn't know how to play tight music without electric motor, and then I found the Huygen drive. Then I figured out that using programming profiles instead of programming pins would solve a lot of problems, and I also figured out how to play dynamic music by using height adjustable rubber band. So 4 of the 5 major obstacles have been cleared, but the 5th and last problem has been unresolved, and I haven't been able to see any possible solution to it until today.
We have so many new patrons. I want to thank everyone who are supporting Wintergatan. Leonardo da Vinci and Beethoven both had patrons, so thank you so much for being mine. Take care and good luck with everything you are doing. Ciao.